Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
Well, it's Bob Zagami, and we hope we got John DePietro. He is in a state park in New York. Let's see if he is going to be with us. Oh, you look like you're in the middle of the woods, John. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, John? Hey, John. Okay, we will keep him up there to see if he's going to be able to join us, but he's in the middle of a state park down south of Rochester that apparently has a big waterfall, or I guess they call it the Grand Canyon of the East, and I suspect some of our veteran people on here have probably been there. Oh, well, man, we got a lot on the docket here tonight. Bill Sell, thanks for joining. You are Bill Sell. You are the first one here tonight. Don Hawes, hello, everyone from Rockport, Texas. Bernie is there. Good evening, gents. Bernie, if you want to jump on, Bernie, with the phone, go ahead and use that link that I sent you, and you don't have to have the video. Bernie is recuperating from hip surgery, so we want him to rest up. But if you want to do that, Bernie, go ahead. Estelle is from down in Charlotte, North Carolina. Weather's been great here. Weather's been great everywhere. Bill Sell says Bernie on the other side of the camera this time. Well, maybe we're not going to put him on camera, but he might come on to do some commentary. Jim Keene, good evening. What a nice day here in New England. That's true. And Bernie said, yes, sir. Talking to Bill Sell, Steve Hogan. Hello, and hope all beautiful weather we have. Hope it lasts through the weekend, though. I saw some forecasts that look pretty bad for the weekend up there. Charlie Butler, evening from Oswego, New York. It's dirt weekend here. Dirt being dirt bikes and motocross, Charlie? Let us know. Bernie says there he is. Well, he came, Bernie, but he left. And Uncle Tim is here from RVing, Mass. And Tim had a very productive week out in Elkhart and Goshen, Indiana. So let me go back to our front page here, and we have so much to give and share with you tonight. Let's be thankful for our sponsor, and let me get that off there, Tim. Seacoast RVs up in Saco, Maine. Glad to have them as a sponsor, creating fun on family fun on Route 1. And we saw them out, saw Amanda and Kendra, Brittany and Kenny Blow out in Elkhart, and they retained their title as the #1 park model dealer in the country this year, and they retained their title as the second year of Elevation's park model dealer in the country. So they're really rocking it up there, and if you're thinking about a park model, head on up and see what they got. All right, let's do this. Hang on there. Let's pull that off. Let's see what else we got on. Tim was there. Walter says, good evening from Central Florida. Yep, that's good weather down here. We have our little rain shower every hour. Jim Conboy from Connecticut. Steve Hogan at Pine Lake this weekend. Pine Lake. Is that Rhode Island, Steve? I'm thinking of Pinewood Lodge in Plymouth. Is that Pine Lake? I assume that may be something down in Connecticut. So let's see what something else that we want to show you this week is the Majors Open House week. Let me get rid of that. And John was down at Majors yesterday doing some preliminary videos. And this is always a big annual event for Majors. And they just do it upright. Now it'll be from now, it started today, and it goes through Saturday. So let's just take a look at his introduction to their open house.
Everyone, we are at Majors RV Center. We are in Cape Cod. We're just over the bridge about a mile. And the reason we're here today is to let you know about the big open house week that's happening starting tomorrow right here, Majors RV. So let's just look at the lineup of great activities. On Wednesday, which is tomorrow, free pumpkin spice latte and donuts for all our customers. And on Thursday, veterans and seniors get 15% off, guaranteed 15% off. And on Friday and Saturday, the famous Wheel of Savings comes back, which means you can guarantee a savings of 10 to 40% on every purchase. So just come in. If you buy something that comes to $100 or your total purchase comes to $100, spin the wheel. Jeff, spin the wheel and you can get up to 40% off. So if it's $100, you get 40% off. Jeff, what's the cost?
40. It's going to run to $60.
$60. It's a great deal. And then Saturday only, Coke, soft drinks. We got to say that. Soft drinks.
It's not soft drinks, John.
And door prizes on Saturday.
Although, come late enough on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm not making any guarantees. Depending on how the week goes.
So we're going to be with Jeff most of the morning, and Jeff is just back from vacation. He's
ready to go, John.
Getting ready, and you know what? It's going to be a great week.
Fantastic.
Weather-wise, it's hard to be thinking, Jeff, that we're
getting
ready for the fall.
I know it's going to be almost 80 degrees today.
So.
Yeah, but we'll take it, John. We'll absolutely take it.
Okay, everybody. So stop on down all week long at Majors RV in Bourne, just over the bridge. Everyone, we are.
If you haven't been to Majors RV, you got to take a trip down there. It's the largest parts and accessory store in New England, bar none. And there's there's 6 more videos if you scale down on our Facebook page. John that's a service that he provides out of his consulting company to the dealers. So that's directly with John, but he does about 6 or 7 videos in a 3-hour period or 3-hour block when they have that. So let me see what else we have for comments here tonight. Charlie Butler says some of the top dirt track drivers in the country will be competing at the Oswego Speedway for more than $50,000 in prizes. That's serious stuff. It's not something that I've ever followed, but that's some serious money. Steve Hogan says, "Oh, Sturbert. Oh, that's the old. Is that the one that closed for a year, Steve? And I can't think of it. It was a Jellystone Park, wasn't it? At one time, but it gets good reviews." Estelle has a question: is Friesen racing there this weekend? That's a question for Charlie. So Charlie, if you know, give us a shot. Jim Roy, good evening, gentlemen. Late again. Well, you spent the whole week relaxing out in Elkhart and Goshen, Indiana, Jim. So you're probably doing 2 weeks worth of work like the rest of us. It's nice to go out there and play with all the RVs and see all the people. Problem is, you come back and you still have that extra week's worth of work to do. Steve Hogan says yes. So that was the old Jellystone. And Dante is late, and he apologizes though. And Dante is actually my interview on the Camper Report show this week. We talk about his business as a business coach and consulting people on how to get into the franchising world. And so that will be there. We'll post that later on so you can get a chance to see Dante on camera and in an interview. But it's a great interview and talks. And I think the two things that I took away from it, one was, don't do business if somebody wants to charge you as a business coach. Dante does not charge. He does a survey, he talks to the people, and he tries to customize them into the type of franchise. I mean, you don't want to have a Snap-on Tools franchise if you're short order cook and vice versa. So if any of you ever thinking about getting into a franchise as a second career or as your next career, we'll hook you directly up with Dante, and you can talk with him about that. The other thing, now that Jim is on, let me get back. I got to get back up to my videos here. Just bear with me a second. And I don't, where is it? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I don't see it. I had a Jim Roy video. Let me do this. I'm going to play a video with Claude Donati at Nexus RV. They were part of the open house. So let me showcase Nexus. And I'll go see where my other video went. All right, welcome back, everybody. And I stopped by Nexus RV to see our good friends Claude Donati and Dave Middleton. And this is not Claude Donati. I want to make sure. This is Dave Middleton. Dave, fantastic setup, great selection of products. But you got a couple of new things this year that people may not know about. What you got?
Absolutely. You know, the main thing that we wanted to show, Bob, is our difference in construction. It's a game changer in our mind, and that's why we wanted to display the importance of the skeleton of our build. So this is a high-strength, low-alloy steel framing construction. Roof and sidewalls, it's up to 72% stronger. And we wanted the dealers and the customers to see every opening is framed in steel. We use no aluminum, no wood, all high-strength low-alloy steel. It's up to 72% stronger. So we wanted to showcase that in the middle of our showroom at the display here for the open house.
And that's how you build every coach.
Every coach.
Every
from
coach.
the mini home
That's
all
what
the way
makes
up
you
to our
different.
coach.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Now, over to my right, a beautiful looking Wraith, but
Yes.
I'm really impressed with that, but I can't talk about it like you can.
Well, it is the all new. As you know, we pride ourselves in the Super C segment to be able to meet price points that no one else can, and we've done it again. We had our Wraith and our Triumph TSC on the International MB Light. That was a 300 horsepower with rear springs and no air ride or air brakes. We have partnered with Freightliner. We have matched the price of what we were last year with a lesser chassis. We're 340 horsepower, rear air ride, air brakes, and air seats. And the response has been phenomenal since we introduced this.
Run around. I don't want to film the whole pack of
Sure.
us, but run around and talk about the entire product line that you're showing to dealers here this
Sure.
week.
So again, you just been right here and you got our Ghost, which is our high-end Super C with a 360 horsepower, rear air ride, 3000 transmission, Allison, all full body deluxe paint. Most options are all standard, very little options on that coach that you need to upgrade. So that's our top of the line. Then next we have is what I just mentioned with the Freightliner. Right behind it is our Rebel Super C, which is a 4x4. It'll tow 12,000 pounds, and that is a fully loaded Super C 4x4.
That's been a big seller for you,
It's a
too.
huge seller. And
Yeah.
what we've done, instead of the 2 floor plans, we now offer a 28-foot, a 31-foot, and a 32-foot.
Nice sizes.
That's it.
Yep.
And so to get more aggressive in this market, we have introduced the Verado. That is a 4x2 Super C 350 horsepower Duramax diesel with a 15,000 pound towing and rear air ride suspension with OnStar.
Phenomenal.
And then of course we have our traditional Class C's and our Viper B Plus. So all new paints, new interiors from flooring, interior wallboard, light fixtures, all the way through our whole lineup. And the response has been tremendous with what we're offering to the market today.
Dave, thanks very much. I know you guys are busy. I'll let you get back to work, but that's a great lineup for Nexus RV.
Thank you, Bob. It's always a pleasure.
I keep hitting that twice. They had a tremendous lineup, and they did the interiors all over and a couple of new floor plans. Of course, they get gold stars because if you remember, they actually started the company at the start of the recession, 2008, 2009, and they sold directly to consumers. Everybody thought that they would never make it. Well, they made it. They made it in big time. They had the largest independent motorhome dealer now since Tippin sold out to Thor, and they are now looking at and setting up several other dealers. Hopefully we'll have another one up here soon. I don't want to get too far away from the comments tonight because there's so much information out there. Steve Hogan says it's Thanksgiving weekend for Sunshine Wheelers at Pine Lake. Charlie says, yes, Friesen is racing for Canada. The Verando 28S is a nice looking rig. Yeah, that was one of the new ones last year, Walter. Steve Hogan, turkey and all the fixings supplied by all of us. Remember, it's all about the food. All right, I must have missed something on the internal there. I mentioned that Jim Roy had joined us, and I had to go out and look at and see why I didn't post that video. But John went up to Maine last weekend and did a video with Jim at the Shore Hills Campground for a vintage restoration trailer. You know, Jim is the owner and founder of Silver Moose Restorations, one of our strong NERVDA members. And it looks like he didn't wear his Sasquatch suit, but I'll let you decide for yourself. And you can see how things were up at Shore Hills. Is this the right one? Yes, it is.
So, folks, there are Airstreams, and then there are Airstreams that have been completely done over by our friend Jim Roy, or Roy, from Silver Moose Restorations. You've got your bathroom here, you've got your shower there, you've got your kitchen, which I'll get to, and you've got a full bedroom here. You've got birch ceilings, and you got your microwave, ice maker, induction cooking. Look at good size sink, and then Corian cabinets. And now let's go out and talk to the person who made this all happen, Mr. Jim Roy. Jim,
hey, John.
Quite a job.
Thank you.
Quite a job. Says the Silver Moose, and it certainly is the Silver Moose. Why don't we come over here and then we can talk about it. Now, where are we, Jim? Where are we here, and what are all these other units that are here?
We are at Shore Hills Campground in Booth Bay, Maine, and this is our fall vintage camper rally. We have two a year, one in the spring, the first weekend after Memorial Day, and it was such a hit that we decided to add a fall one. It started out just local friends, and then the owners of the campground decided to do a spaghetti supper for us, and it's grown to, I think we have 23 here today.
23 today, and I know they said the spring is a little bigger.
This spring we had 54.
Now, this shines like no other Airstream I've ever seen. Is there a magic formula that you have? Is there a certain type of chemical that you put on it, and a lot of buffing, or what?
We use a product called Nuvite. There's three different grades of buffing compound, so think of it like different grades of sandpaper, and lots of hours.
Lots of hours, okay.
So there's over 400 hours in polishing this.
So the unit that we just walked through, what year was it built, and what did you have to do with it before you know, Silver Moose Restorations is, I'm going to say restoration is the key word in the company, because you really restored that baby.
Yeah, so this is a 1975 Airstream Sovereign.
which would make it almost 50 years old,
Yeah.
right? Almost 50 years old.
And
That's amazing.
when I got it, it was essentially abandoned. The person who had it before us dropped it off at a camper. What do you call it?
Repair shop.
Repair shop.
Yep.
And had a few things done and walked away from it. So they sold it to me and brought it home. The frame broke in two on the way home, and I just had to laugh and keep going. And
Okay. And at the time when you bought this, my understanding is that you were not in the restoration business. You were in the home building.
I was a general contractor for 28 years before doing this, and this started off as a side project.
Okay. Which has grown into a full-time career, really.
It's grown into a career. Silver Moose we've been doing this for 6 years now, and at about the 3-year mark, we were still doing the home building and the restorations. And it got to the point where the restoration business overtook the construction business, so I shut down my company and just went full-time with this one.
Yeah. Okay. So Airstreams are an iconic brand, and I think I asked somebody who owned one, I said, why do they all look new? And they told me that everything that's inside it can go in and out the door.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
Which makes it a heck of a lot. I'm just going to take a picture of the door. Which makes it a heck of a lot easier than trying to have to take a windshield out to put a new refrigerator or something like that in. Who's the customer that you have? Who's buying the, investing in the vintage restoration?
We have a lot of different people. We have clients who have new Airstreams. We have clients who have had an Airstream in their family for years. Or maybe grandma had one back 50 years ago and they found one on the side of the road and wanted to relive that, their youth. So some of them are buying them and bring them to us because they're in bad shape. So we rebuild it and then they can take them and go camping.
Wow. So you certainly have the showpiece of this event. I mean, obviously the other ones are the tiny ones, although that's a recreation, right? Yeah, Riverside, is that it? Something like that. But we want to thank you so much for introducing us to vintage camping. We are having a blast.
Different world.
Whole different world, talking to so many nice people from all different walks of life. And want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's just amazing work. If you follow some of the postings that we have on there, Jim is now probably the #1 Airstream restoration company in the country. And he's always got a yard full of vintage Airstreams and some new Airstreams, and even some people that just stop in along the way to say hello or get something tightened up a little bit. Let's jump back into our end a bit here. Steve, Jerry Plant is, sorry, I'm late. Traffic is brutal down here. Well, it was such a good day down in Cape Cod to do that. And I should say that Jerry has been just joined NERVDA as an associate member for his RV inspection company. He's no longer, I understand he's no longer with Majors. He's kind of semi-retired or retired, but if you need inspections, then you can certainly get a hold of Jerry. Chris Andro, hello everyone, good evening. Nice to have you, Chris. And Steve says, you need wedding, I don't know who he's talking to here tonight. I think he's got a side conversation. Oh, you need welding goggles to travel next to that in the sunlight. He's talking about the Airstream. And I know John kind of went on to the next sentence, but if you caught it, Jim said there were 400 hours of buffing into that unit. 400 hours, that's 10 weeks of somebody just buffing that unit to do that. Let's, I know Tim Christensen is on, and Tim, while he was out in Goshen and Elkhart, picked up 2 product lines for Tim's RV. He's going to have to expand the operation out there in Irving, Mass. I didn't get over to Encore. He's picking up Encore trailers. And if you caught what I posted yesterday or the day before, just slide down a little bit. Tim is now the new dealer for Oliver travel trailers in New England. And Oliver started out much like Nexus. They started out factory direct. They're actually built in Tennessee. They're not built in Elkhart or Goshen. And they're very, very well built trailers. So Tim is adding that to the product line. I know he said he hopes to have one in the Springfield show. We're talking to Tim. We hope to have Tim's RV in the Boston show, introduce his products and services to the Boston crowd. So hopefully they'll have that. Another New England company that's getting a new product. It's an old product, but it's a new product. And let me just show you this one here.
All right, back again in Elkhart at the Dealer Open House, and I know our fans in New England are very familiar with the Chinook name because you'll remember that Marty Canood at Marty's US RV, a good friend of ours, used to be the dealer. But it's kind of a new company now, and I'm talking to Seth Buckheit.
Hey,
Seth,
everybody.
it's always a pleasure. You know, I've always had a great love for Chinook. And why don't you tell a little bit about yourself and the Chinook brand today?
My name's Seth Buckheit. I'm the factory sales rep for Chinook RV. I do all of our dealer add-ons, all of our retail sales and stuff like that for the company. And what I have here is our new Maverick 360 Murphy bed floor plan with an all-new paint job for the new open house, or for the dealer open house this year.
It is a great paint job, Seth.
Thank you.
It caught came around that corner, and I said, I got to stop and talk to these guys.
Well, it's Sickens paint with 3 coats of clear coat. And then it's more going after kind of just something different from the decals we have been doing in the years past. And these will be hitting the lots here within the next year, here in New England and across the country. So a few highlights about it. This is a bonded aluminum sidewall. It's a metal coach per se. It's not a fiberglass coach. So this is aluminum panels. With the aluminum, we were able to break in the body line off the coach. And then with the structure we add on to the Ford structure, it allows us to do outside storage all the way around the coach. So that way you have outside storage, inside storage, but still in that Class B format.
What do you have for the inside?
On the inside, this is again the new Murphy bed. So we do the rear entry. The rear entry here is pretty popular from the old Chinook series.
Right, they had that a long time ago.
Yes. So it really allows you to use the sidewall space. So in here you can see we have a sofa. Basically this sofa here you piece together with a couple of pieces. Technically this piece goes behind here. You put this on. You do it a couple times, you have your sofa. Now you take this apart. This piece can go right here. This goes behind. You lift up the table. Now you have a dinette. Now you put this back.
You know, Chinook was always known for quality engineering, luxury products, and you've carried it right through with this one.
Thank you. Yeah, now we do the
The ever popular Murphy bed. Yep.
Yes. So doing it without a slide was one thing we really, we had to make space for it. But with not doing a slide, it maintains our 4 seasons capability. Because we've had these tested by Truma in a cryo chamber, fully operational at 5 degrees or under. And we were able to maintain 65 plus degrees inside the coach.
You know, it's terrific. I don't want to rush it, but we're trying to do short videos, so tell us how people can find Chinook, and obviously in New England, it's Crowley RV.
We're partnered with Crowley RV.
Yeah.
You can check us out on our website, ChinookRV.com, or you can follow us on Facebook, Chinook RV on Facebook.
Seth, thank you very much.
No problem.
All right. So another addition to Crowley's Class B motorhomes down in Connecticut, and look who just joined us.
Oh, hey. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, boy, what a product. I was just watching that video, and I'm saying to myself, what a unique, very innovative product. And I love the way they fit everything into that little Class B shell. That was amazing.
Bernie, the Chinook, when Marty had those 15 years ago,
Right?
they were $100,000 15 years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
People
So they probably cost a little more right now, right?
I think Marty sold more than the rest of the dealers in the country. So I understand you've reached the age of replacing body parts.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't have my makeup artist with me tonight, and I didn't get all cleaned up. But yeah, I just had surgery
Oh,
yesterday,
yeah.
and on my hip, and I'm glad I'm still in a good mood here. They got me on the right mixture of pharmaceuticals, and I'm not going to mention any by name, but it's amazing the technology these days, and the quality of the medical treatment that you get. It's just incredible. I mean, I have to say that my doctor and his team were just delightful the whole day. They put up with me for about 6 hours and they kicked me out of there. But yeah, it was a real good experience considering what I had done. Yeah.
So you're walking with a cane or crutches, or you're in a wheelchair? What do they do?
I have one crutch, so that's what yesterday I was on 2 crutches, and I found that kind of more inhibitive than helpful. So I got up this morning and went with a 1 crutch. Yeah, and pain has been, and so I had a complete hip surgery, and I don't know if you people know what that's all about, but they do a pretty heavy duty slice and dice on you, so I'm having a little bit of bone pain today because all the big nerve blockers and stuff that they put in yesterday are no longer active. So I get surprised now and again, but all in all, it's not bad at all. Had my first PT this afternoon. Life is good.
How soon before you return to the sales desk at Campers Inn in Merrimack?
Well, the doctor won't even talk to me about that consideration for a month. And I don't think it will be because of the lack of mobility per se, but he doesn't want me to spend as much time as I do at work currently on my feet, probably for about 5 or 6 weeks, because I put it to 5 or 6 miles a day in there.
Yeah. Going up and down stairs in the units.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You want to be joyful and not in pain while you're showing something like that. So that way you can be more cheerful and happy-go-lucky and show people what a good time that camp, buying an RV is all about.
Hang loose, Bernie. I'm going to try to stay on schedule tonight with our commercial for Seacoast RVs.
Hey, it's Joe from 1019 POR, and it's time for another exciting episode of Seacoast RV TV. Soon this wet rain is going to turn into a little of this. It's time to start thinking about winterizing your RV. You could trust the professionals at Seacoast RV. Or, let's be honest, you could just do it yourself. I mean, how difficult could it really be to winterize your RV? Hey, what's this switch do? Okay, so maybe you should trust the folks at Seacoast RV on Route 1 in Saco. That way you won't have any problems in the springtime. Oil! I need oil! When you trust Seacoast RV, they'll guarantee there'll be no breaks in the spring from winterization. They'll drain all the water out of the lines, fill them full of antifreeze to help prevent any freeze-up, so that way when spring rolls around, you'll be ready to hit the road again. So there you have it. Don't be a Joe. When you need to get your RV or towable winterized, trust the professionals here at Seacoast RV. #1 for family fun, Route 1 in Saco. We'll see you next time on another edition of Seacoast RV TV.
I have to say, I love that commercial.
I love that commercial.
It's absolutely delightful.
It is that time of year, so get a hold of your NERVDA dealer, your closest NERVDA dealer. Most of our dealers can either do the winterizing for you, set up an appointment. Some have drive-through winterizing. If you want to do it yourself, go to their parts and accessory store, pick up all the packaging. And you saw John's video earlier with Major's RV during the month of October.
Right.
Major is doing winterizing and storage. They go a little bit deeper than just winterizing. Every Saturday at 10, noon, and 2 o'clock to do that. You know what I want to do?
Yep.
We have a ton of pictures. I mean, I spent hours today putting some of the stuff together. So I'm going to go through maybe 10 or so, and we'll go through another 10 later on. So Bernie, if as I go through, jump in if you got a comment on some of these things. I'm just going to go right up the ladder.
Sounds good. Well,
I'll tell you what, let me do this. Let me take you and me off the screen.
Check 1, 2. Check.
I'm sorry. I'm going to leave us up in the background because
There you go.
that was my mistake. When I drop people off the screen, it automatically mutes. So, so what I was saying, Bernie, do you guys sell Road Trek in any of your facilities?
No, we don't right now. Yeah, we have a lot of other products out there very similar to that.
Yep.
Storyteller and Pleasure Way and things of that nature. There's just so many, and now Winnebago and Tiffin are also making some nice Class B products. But look at this Moab. That looks like a post-apocalyptic mobile, doesn't it?
This is a beast, and I'll tell you, this is probably the first year that we saw these extreme boondocking machines. Some of these go up to $1 million, and there were at least 3 or 4 of them scattered around the Elkhart Fairgrounds.
Right.
Another name that was out years ago and then disappeared for about 15, Trail Manor. This is, if you're not familiar with Trail Manor, if you're just getting into RVing, and I know we have a lot of new fans that are just, having their first RV, this thing actually sets up in about 30 seconds. You pull the top part actually folds down. And the other benefit of this is the incredible fuel efficiency, because it tows just like a pop-up camper, but you get full height and you have all your internal, you have a full bathroom on the inside. That's an interesting one. They're just getting out there and setting up some dealers now also.
Oh, yeah. I saw one of those, some of the older ones, and I was just fascinated by the engineering. And, you pull a couple of pins and you kind of tug on them a little bit and they just open right up. Pretty simple.
Yeah, one person.
Yeah.
Mission Overland was a
Wow.
small single axle trailer. So we're seeing a lot of that. And again, we talked about it last week. Single axle trailers under $30,000, lightweight. Everybody had one. It's going to be one of the big sellers at the Boston show this year. And all the dealers are going to be stocking them. This one happens to be a little bit more on the upside. And of course, we couldn't go to the event without saying hello to Willie Miller.
Of course.
In the Heartland booth. That's kind of a prerequisite. You mentioned Winnebago. Winnebago they had the Access, which we showed last week.
Right.
This is the new M series. There's 3 different floor plans, all under $30,000.
So slightly decontented, but still built very well like a Winnebago would be, right?
Absolutely. We stopped off at Elevation Park Model, and again, Seacoast RV #1 in the country for Elevation. There's a lot of the new models there. One right there with the front porch, and
I have to say the interiors on those are extraordinary. They're like a high-end Manhattan apartment,
Yeah, and they're bigger than a high-end Manhattan apartment.
That's not sleeping in the closet, right?
That's a good point, Bernie, because this is the interior of it.
Brilliant.
And
Absolutely
then
brilliant.
there was Seacoast receiving their award with Trevor Krupp.
Well deserved for sure.
#1. This, you talk about a pop-up tent. How about that? It's Mod USA. That thing looks like it could go out in the battlefield, Bernie.
Oh, I know it. And then they have this like pop out like 3-season room outside that so you can really fit a whole gang out there, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and everything but put a fireplace in there. But that's an amazing pop-up for sure. My goodness.
Yep. Inside, outside. That's the inside of the Airstream Pottery Barn. I understand it's one of their very best-selling units.
Oh, wow.
That's the exterior of it. Yeah. And that was the Airstream. Airstream had a relatively small display this year. Only 3 motorhomes. You're seeing them right there. And they had the 3 travel trailers.
So what those look like, they were on the Dodge, that Dodge chassis. There's 2
a Mercedes. 2 on the Mercedes, and the new Ridge line is on the the new Range line, I think, is on the ProMaster chassis.
Okay.
Braxton Creek makes a product. A lot of theater. These were going to the dealers at a very nice price. I think you're going to see a lot of dealers pick these up. Price-wise, they're going to be even under that $30,000 range. And while I'm there, let me jump off and show you the guy who's going to be representing them in New England, because you might know him from Lance. All right, back at you. And today I am with William Hill, who you've seen before. You've seen him on the videos in New England. William, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bob, I'm good. I'm glad to be here. You know, me and you, many years going back and forth, so it's been great.
So tell us a little bit about Bontrager Outdoors.
Yeah, so Bontrager Outdoors is a company that encompasses kind of some multiple. We've got Skinny Guy campers over here. We've got the Armor, that's all part of Skinny Guy. And all behind me, Bob, is all Bushwhacker Plus, which is Braxton Creek.
And Braxton Creek is sold by Tim's RV, which is one of our great
Which falls under my territory, so I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, that was great. I was concerned if you might still be staying down the southeast, but you're back home in New England. But you said you got everything from up here to down there.
From Maine to Florida, yes, sir.
Yeah, that is great. How long have you been with the company? And
so I've been with the company for about a week and a half. So not very long, but I've got great experience in the industry, as you know. So I'm happy to reconnect with a lot of dealers throughout the whole East Coast.
Well, they love you. You've been one of the most respected dealers in the industry for a long time. And when you called me, I was delighted. And I said I could not leave Elkhart without stopping by and seeing William and the gang and what you're up to.
I sure appreciate that. I think we've got a great product line.
Tell us a little bit about Braxton Creek.
Yeah, so Bushwhacker Plus and Bushwhacker and Braxton Creek, we've got all Asdale composite units. We've got torsion axles, LED lights, and what I think Jason mentioned to me the other day, one of our founders, that you've got quality, affordability, and we want to get that to the masses. This is a different company altogether, and what we're going to do with the people that we have in place and our founders, I'm excited about it because we've got a great product. And for those that know my background, I'm not going to mention a lot of stuff, but I'm welcome to have a different price point and be with some great, still quality products.
Talk about the owners a little bit because they certainly have a background in the industry.
Sure. So the Bontragers, Jason, Austin, part of the Jaco family back in the day, and we've got Bontrager Outdoors now, which is kind of more of an umbrella. I don't want to speak out of turn, but that encompasses the Braxton Creek and the Skinny Guy brands.
Great. William, it's a pleasure seeing you. Best of luck in your new role, and don't come to New England without calling me, pal.
For sure, and thanks a lot, Bob. I really appreciate it.
You know, William Hill was one of my favorite reps with Lance. He's such a character, such a hardworking guy, traveling around the country all over the place. And it's great to see him with a product that he can sink his teeth into. I think what's going on as the economy kind of shrinks a little bit, as growth kind of softens, to get into a single axle and to get something lightweight, Asdale composite, I think it's a great idea, and into the in the price range too, because a lot of people still want to get on board with camping, and people that may not want to go digging too deep in their pockets, this is going to be a great opportunity for them.
Yep, and they just recently purchased Braxton Creek. They had some issues, and now they're under a different umbrella, different manufacturing. So looking for good things there. And with William out there, William, he knows all the dealers from Maine to Florida. He's got a good reputation. He'll load up on the dealer side of that. Bernie, let's jump over to comments to make sure that I'm not missing anything.
Well, I wanted to back up because I had a couple of directed at me. Bill Sell, when I get all healed up, he wants to run a marathon with me. Well, I've never run a marathon before. I'm not really planning on it, but maybe we can do like a 5K walk together. How's that sound, Bill? But then it's yeah.
I don't know. The two of you run. I can't picture the two of you running.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of. And he just had a broken leg. Estelle, thank you so much. You've been such a great fan over here. And I know you guys are out camping this week, I believe. I was talking to Mark on Sunday, and he said you guys were camping. So have fun doing that. And she had both hips done. So that's wonderful.
Yeah. Okay.
That was just us screwing up there for a little bit.
Dante, okay, now that they were talking about, because I dropped the voice there. Walter says, love the trail man. I always liked that. I was disappointed. They used to have a dealer down the Cape years ago, MCD, but I don't even know if they're in business anymore.
I don't think they've been out of business for a while, I think, because the newest Trailmaner I've seen is probably like a 2008 or something. So out of business for a little bit.
Tim's got 3 or 4 comments here, so he's
Oh
jumping.
yeah, he got all upset.
Let's give him a little bit of love tonight. The Moab was created by Scott Tuttle. Scott Tuttle of Intech fame, and now he's the man behind Soaring Eagle truck campers. And another thing, Scott doesn't go far from our industry, and if Scott puts his name on a product, it's really good. And
Okay.
he's just one of those guys. Soaring Eagle Truck Campers has expanded the pure quality truck camper market.
Wow.
Braxton Creek will need to step up. That's why we mentioned the conversation. Tim used to sell it.
Right.
Doesn't sell anymore. Leaks a little bit, and that's why they were available for sale. And I think with Bontrager Outdoors is doing some pretty nice things. They've been flying under the radar screen, and that was a good chance for them to come out and show the products that they have there. As Tim said, major changes will be required. Bill Sell, 5K it is. Pick the charity.
Yeah, so he's talking about us running a mini marathon, right? Yeah, so we'll do definitely, Bill. I look forward to it. Yeah.
Can I walk 1K? I don't know.
It's 3.2 miles. We don't have to rush. And if we do it for charity, it'll motivate us even more, right?
Steve Hogan says the high-low. The high-low was of a vintage similar to the original Trail Manor. And here's a piece of trivia for you. This could win you a couple of beers, Bernie.
Oh, good.
When Peter Orthwein and Wade Thompson formed Thor, and as you probably know, the Thor was developed. TH is for Wade Thompson, the first 2 letters of his last name. OR are the first 2 letters of Peter Orthwein's last name. And many people think that the first company they bought to start the company was Airstream. Actually, the first company they bought was High-Low, and they were made in Ohio.
Wow.
Just a little piece of trivia for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that because I didn't know any of that. I thought it was just named after the Nordic god or something like that.
Yeah. Tim, you don't have to apologize. We speak candidly here, and dealers pick up products and dealers drop products for various reasons, whether it's manufacturing.
We've been through some ourselves where we had issues and we said, we probably better not carry that.
It's not easy being a dealer in the RV industry. So
it's a complicated business. All right.
Gary Plant says, am indeed out of majors. However, I filled in for Jeff all last week. I changed my name tag to not Jeff. That was probably a good decision. At least you didn't put Jill on there. Got to leave early. Don Hawes, another great show. Okay. Hey, speaking of, these ruggedized versions, check this out, Bernie.
Yeah.
Still in Elkhart and still at the Dealer Open House, and I am at the 27 North display, and I'm with Gary Smith. No, that is really his name. It's Gary Smith, right? Do I have that right, Gary?
You do, sir.
All right. Tell us a little bit about the company. I'll just squeeze in here and show that vehicle. That's talk about a great overland vehicle.
Well, we have been in business for about 4 years. We came from just the regular RV and RV repair industry. And now we are graduated into expedition trucks and expedition vans. This category here with the expedition truck is kind of relatively new for the overland crowd. And let me tell you, it is gaining steam beyond belief.
It's a beautiful looking vehicle.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure it's very functional. Talk a little bit about the overlander aspect of our business, because for a long time the RV industry didn't talk. It was like they were different. Mm-hmm. Well, they're not different. Everybody's figured it out.
Jumping on that.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. I think kind of COVID spurred things around because people wanted to get away. They've been stuck inside for so long. They want to get away. The best way to do it is to go off grid and get into a BLM or a Forest Service and not in a campground, just away. And so we develop our vehicles to where there's an array of power through solar, lithium batteries, and you can extend your stay basically as long as you want.
Thing is interesting is that a lot of people, especially with the millennials, Gen Zs, the younger crowd, they don't want to go to a campground. They don't want their fathers camping or their mothers camping. They want to be off grid.
Yep.
And of course the overland was there already, but now conventional RV companies are are starting to make models that appeal to some people in that class. But this has got to be the top of the line.
Yeah, this is the pinnacle of them all. And you know, that same crowd wants to go off grid, but they don't necessarily want to get in a tent like maybe you and I did.
Yeah.
You know, they want a little bit more luxury, but they want to be glamping, so to speak. You know, and jump into a nice heated or air conditioned unit.
Now, these are all custom?
No,
this is a production model off the floor.
Yeah,
so
sure is.
To run with it. Give us a few of the specs on it.
A few of the specs on this is it's done with an F350 chassis, so a Ford chassis Lariat, which is top of the line. And then this is a one-piece carbon Kevlar shell. So while you're articulating when you're off-road, or if you hit a washboard and really bounce, because it's a one-piece shell, there's no seams that are going to break apart. So that makes it a lot quieter for one thing, but then a lot more safe. Inside you have a king-size bed. You got a full closed door potty. You don't have to pull the porta potty out into the hallway to do your business. Then you've got a queen-size bed in the back. Of course, air conditioning and heating. It's very, very accommodating.
Wow, isn't that something? Kevlar shell.
It's all one piece. And Bernie, if there's no seams, there's no leaks.
Exactly.
Hey,
well, they must have a decent structure under that, because to keep that seamless shell on there, you know, it could crack if it wasn't a good solid structure. So I'm sure he's making a good coach.
Here's one we didn't get to last week, and we go back into the park model.
Hey everybody, welcome back to RVing in New England. And you know, there are so many different types of RVs or recreational vehicles or whatever you want to call them in the Elkhart area. And we are here tonight with one of the pioneers of the industry, the park model industry, which I personally feel is the best value in the RV industry. And I don't really think they're an RV. I think they're a real house, but because they only have to be a certain space, square footage. Anyway, we're with crops, just like the farmers are. Brian, Trevor, and Liz. And you know what? In the last couple of years, I know, Brian, when we talked, Trevor, when we talked last year, you showed us the everything old is new again.
Right.
But everything's new now. There's new materials, there's new looks, there's new designs. Brian, tell us what's new with your company.
Yeah, so we introduced this year a completely new series, an entry-level series for us, the Canvas. And then we've also kind of gone the other direction with our Eldorado line, which is kind of a high-end unit that we've done some new and fancy things there in that Eldorado line to dress that up a little bit and make it kind of a showpiece for our show this year.
And Brian, floor plans. I keep calling him Brian.
It's all right.
Yeah. Floor plans. Everything is like you rip the canvas up. You rip the old blueprints up and totally start it over again, where before, you'd walk in and everything was in a certain area. You're moving stuff around. New ceilings, different color type framing and beams.
And I think we're going back to what people know as far as what Krupp does out there. We've always been known as the trendsetter, or customizing that 399 square feet. And I know it's a piggyback business, if you will. So people count on Krupp to come out with that latest and greatest design within their 399 square feet as far as a park model. So we just keep pushing the envelope year after year. We've had some great partnerships with View Rail, with Lippert on some of those new designs, and it's been a great response so far. And it's only Monday, but you know what? I feel like it's going to keep getting better and better for us. So we got Liz over here that can talk about our Canvas unit. We came out with the Canvas park model. A lot of people are wanting us to come out with that price point because there are buyers out there that want to get into park models, but they're price sensitive as well. Interest rates have been hurting us a little bit as far as sales, and we want to be sensitive to that. And I'll let you talk a little bit on that.
So we're very proud of the Krupp Canvas. I mean, last year introducing the Eldorado, we knew that we wanted to have all the bells and whistles, but the reality is that you've got to have a price point to meet the consumers where they're at. Absolutely.
All different levels of entry, right?
Yeah, so this year with the Canvas, we say it is the same Krupp quality. We didn't cheapen any of the structure of the finishes. It is exactly what we are known for. fewer bells and whistles. It's going to be a little bit stripped down, but we also know that people love to customize things on their own, and this gives them the opportunity to do so, and it feels quite spacious on the inside.
Brian, who's the new buyer? Who's the new buyer that Canvas was put together for in order to bring them into the market? Are they older people seeing it for the first time, or are they younger people getting into it?
Yeah, I think we're really probably kind of shooting for a young demographic that has children, somebody that wants to be in that park model community, but maybe just can't quite get into our Lakeside series just from a price point. So that Canvas, I think, should really bridge that gap to our customers that want to be part of the park model community.
Great. We're with Brian, Trevor, and Liz. We're at Crop. This is RVing in New England. Stay with us. A lot more to come.
Wow. You know, I think you're working John a little bit too hard. I mean, those people were wearing name tags, and he kept getting the names wrong. So you got to go easy on him. He looks like he's a little worn out.
It is pretty bad when you're looking at the person's name tag and you call them a different name. You know, when they're there and you can't remember who they are, that's one thing. But
well, the content was fantastic because that crop product is outstanding. It's just one of the leaders in that whole park model scene. And it's gorgeous product.
We got to do a lightning round, Bernie. So hop in here because believe it or not, we're coming right up towards the end of the show. But stick with us, folks. I got another 10 pictures here.
Oh, wow. What is that?
This is Rustic Trail. And believe it or not, they just joined NERVDA as an associate member. The sales manager actually lives in Connecticut. They're made down in North Carolina, and they're looking for dealers. So he joined NERVDA with the hope of finding some dealers to sell. They had quite a few on display. Almost every one of them is under $20,000 list price, manufacturer's price.
Wow.
These are great deals for dealers that want entry level. So I suspect that some of our NERVDA dealers will be getting in touch with him quickly.
That little camper's having a baby or something. And
So
Berkshire. Wow.
If you want these babies, you got to go see Frank and Todd out at Longview RV. These are the Berkshire Class A diesels.
Yeah.
Another one of those ruggedized off-track. This is a Dynamax Super C on I believe that also is the Ford chassis or Dodge chassis. 4-wheel drive. Get out the boondocks. Grand Design Transcend. Look at the door. Do you have any of these with this door on it in stock?
Yeah, they just started showing up. So it's a glass door, and then when you are in the inside, you can see outside. But when you're on the outside, you can't see inside.
It was amazing. Yeah, we did a video with John last week on that. Grand Design also brought this out.
Serenova. I can't wait to get one of those at our store. That's going to be
there was mixed reviews on it though, because it's distinctly different from everything else that's been out. They had this new, and they had a new Influence.
So that's going to be the half-ton fifth wheel, I guess, right? Yeah. No, the Solitude kind of lower end Solitude.
Looks a little bit like the Intech. So it's going to be interesting to see. The jury's going to be out on that one.
Well, we'll have to dissect it when we get it to this. And you know what's good about Grand Design? If they did something that isn't quite right, they listen to the dealers. They say, okay, what could we do better? And we have a couple of really skilled people on board at our store, and they'll tell straight, and they'll make adjustments as needed.
Yep. There was a new Freightliner chassis. This was in the Tiffin display. They're going to be building
Power Glide. Yeah.
The Power Glide. Look at all that space between the front wheels and the rear wheels. That got a lot of attention out there. They also, Tiffin had the Midas class. Actually, it's Class C on the Ford Trans.
Right. It's a B plus or whatever. So it was on hiatus for a little while. They brought it in early last year.
Yeah.
They had some things they had to fix about it. They put it on, they took a break, and now they're bringing it back. So I'm really excited about seeing that product come back.
And a new diesel pusher from Tiffin, because when they decided to close up the Van Lee fifth wheel plant and get out of the fifth wheel business, they said, look, we're going back to the basics. We're going back to our motorhomes, and this is one gorgeous diesel pusher, let me tell you. And
that's what they do best. You're right. And that's what they should stick to. And because that is not only their bread and butter, but it's their legacy, right? That's who they are.
And they got a couple of Super Cs themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And then over at Alliance, the Paradigm, and the inside. They had 26 units on display inside, which came in handy on the rainy days. And then the Valor
Oh yeah,
trailer, and this
sure.
one saved the best for last for Tim. This is the all.
Yeah.
So this is what Tim's going to have out there in Irving, Mass, and hopefully, maybe we'll see it in the Boston show. Maybe we'll see it at the Springfield show. But
What is it, Oliver?
They've
Is that
done very well.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. Yeah, some of them have awnings on both sides.
Yep. And if you can't get enough of what's out at Open House, while they were there, they had Mike Cottle, their brand manager, and they did 26 videos of different products. You can find those on YouTube and on Go RVing page. But they did a nice job on them. If you still haven't filled up your plate with everything, then Willie Miller also takes care of the DRV. How's that for a bulky fifth wheel? That's what Frank does. Most of those are customized. And then we finished off the week. Oh, wait, we got the Winnebago Solus, which always gets a lot of attention.
Sure.
Yeah, Lake Robust. See that black one we talked about last week?
Oh, yeah.
Black Cortez campers. They are at Pete's RV. And then the last thing we did was we went over to Truma and celebrated their 10th anniversary with them. Mark Harlett on the left is the COO. Gerhard Hansberger is the CEO. And both of those guys have been there since day one when they came to Elkhart, bought a house, opened a little office and sales group, and now almost every OEM has a Truma product on it. So congratulations to our friends at Truma.
Yeah, great product line and great company, very innovative and setting the bar really high for sure.
Yeah, they just do a great job. So what do you think is a little recap, Bernie?
Well, I thought that was exciting. There's so much going on out there. It's amazing, how much work that you and John did to kind of put these two shows together last week and this week. I'm just really proud of you guys. And I just think that, although times are a little bit difficult, we are in an innovative phase in the RV industry. And this is where you're going to really see things rise to the top for sure.
Well, that's a great point, Bernie. One of the things that I love about the industry, and this is my 27th year of covering it. Yes, it is an industry of peaks and valleys, and it goes up and it goes down.
Right.
And lots of times when things go down, people, head for the trenches. When things go down in the RV industry, like they have, we're down 50% over what we were a couple of years ago. They don't go for the trenches. They go for the engineering group and they say, what can we do that's different? Let's bring out something new. So we saw a lot of new products, a lot of new engineering, a lot of new price points, everything from the single axle $20,000 trailer to a $1 million off-road vehicle. So they don't hide. There may be some cutbacks and stuff, but they say, well, if that's the case, what are we going to do next? And Bernie, talk to that because you've been out there yourself for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. So here's the thing. Like, you're right. The RV industry, when there's a retraction or a pullback, they don't just sit and panic. They say, you know what? We've made some money over the last couple of years. Let's spend the money on R&D. Let's develop and be innovative and bring it to a new level. And, I just am so excited that that's the kind of industry that I'm in, right? So an industry that doesn't just sit on their hands and say, oh my God, what are we going to do? They say, okay, yeah, we have a little more time on our hands. Let's spend it productively and let's develop some wonderful products. So,
and that will keep us going. We're in our 8th year. It'll keep us going for another 8. Thanks, Bernie, for jumping on tonight. I don't know where John is. He's buried in the woods at New York and didn't quite get the connection that he hoped he had. Want to thank
it's a pleasure to have to be on the show, guys. So thanks everybody.
All right, and a sponsor, thank you very much, Seacoast RVs, creating family fun on Route 1. Winnebago Towables, Winnebago Motorhomes, Park Model Specialists. Take a ride up, see them, and we will catch you next week.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.